Hi, welcome to Habits for a Healthy Workplace. Tip number 1. What do you want to do with your time? I know it's a really big question, and lots of the time we don't have lots of choice about it. But actually, when was the last time you looked at the whole of your life and thought, what do I spend my energy and time on? And is it what I want to? So many people I work with, and God, myself included, say, oh, I'm just exhausted by work, and work becomes our focus. And then we don't have enough time to, hang out with your kids or go to the cinema or go swimming or do exercise or play music or whatever it is. We're whole human beings and there's more to life than work. So one way that can be really useful to take a big picture, step on the balcony, have a look at your life as if you're looking down below at everything that you do and take stock. One way of doing that is to create what I've called the wheel of enough. So get yourself a pen and paper and draw on the piece of paper a circle, and in the middle put a dot and put some spokes. So you're creating a wheel, a little bit like this. And what I'd like you to think about is writing a list of all the dimensions in your life that matter to you, that you would like to give yourself time for. So, for example, it could be family life, creative life, voluntary work, time in nature, friendships, exercise, all the things that you want to prioritize giving some time to. And choose the ones that you really want to make sure you have time to do each week. Then go back to that circle you've created, and for each spoke, and create a spoke for as many as you need, create a spoke for each of those subjects. So you end up with the wheel looking a bit like this. This is based on a client's example that I worked with. Now, the next thing I'd like you to do is, if you imagine that the middle of the wheel, that little dot in the middle of the wheel is 0 and the outside of the wheel is 10, I want you to give yourself a mark out of 10 for each of those categories based on how much energy and effort it takes from your life now. How much energy and effort does it take? So if you feel like you spend a majority of your life giving your energy and effort to your work, you would give a 9 out of 10 for that. You'd score 9. For some of you, you might want to break down different aspects of your work, but this at the moment is a whole picture of everything that you do, everything you want to give your life to, time in your life to. You might put 8 for your family. You might put, for time in nature, you might put 1. It really depends. Just look and think about your life now and just be honest with yourself. This isn't about wanting to change anything. It's just being true. Once you've done that, you can join the dots, if you like, so that you end up with something a little bit like that. And it can be a fun exercise to imagine that was a wheel and how well that would be rolling along. Although, of course, the intention of this exercise isn't actually to create an even wheel, because it's appropriate that we spend more time of our lives with our families, say, than time in nature, perhaps, or that we spend more time on our working lives than with our voluntary work. That's kind of just how life is. Of course, each one of us will be different. So then the next part of this exercise is to consider each one of those spokes and think about how much time you would like to be spending on each one. Now, here I would give you the tip of not trying to be too massively idealistic. Let's not go for utopia here. Let's go for one step at a time. Think about if you could make a small adjustment to that score, what would it be? It could be that you've given work a 9, but actually you want to bring it down to an 8 because you would like to be at home more, spending more time with your family or more quality time doing exercise. Whatever it is, it'll be different, as I've said, for each of you. So put a score or a mark on the line which shows you how much time you would like to be spending on that Now, for some of you, this might be the same, in which case, great. I mean, it's nice that you're watching this video, but you clearly don't need to. You're doing life as you want to. But if you notice that there are some things that you're not quite giving effort and intention to, or that you haven't quite found space for in your life, that is the thing that we're going to be focusing on. How you can create the time in your life to reintegrate things that energize you in a different way. The last piece of reflection that I'll invite you to do once you've identified the two scores and perhaps the difference between them is to think for each of the spokes about one small change that could help you get into the right direction, lead you in the right direction. So it could be, for example, you want to move from 9 to a 7 in terms of work and working hours. And one thing that might help you to do that, especially if, for example, exercise is something that is a neglected part of your wheel, that you commit to finishing work at 6 o'clock twice a week to do an exercise class. And I'm using that example because it's one that a client shared with me recently. Another client said, I really want to learn the piano. I love playing the piano and I'm going to have lessons again. And he religiously started stopping work at 5 o'clock on a Thursday night, as it happened, and started to do that. And he found that it fed him in such a good way. It gave him energy. And it also began to get that sense of intentionality to the life that you want to lead. And it's that sort of thing that can really help just tweak the effort we give to different parts of our life. And of course, we find that one serves the other. So I hope that that's a useful exercise for you. I call it the Wheel of Enough. I hope that you find it useful. Good luck with it today, and tune in tomorrow if you want another tip for how you can set yourself habits for a healthy work pace. Take care. Bye-bye.